So, I made a video a while back about Joseph Joestar and an assumed plot hole involving him and the overall plot of Diamond is Unbreakable. And as it turns out, Joseph can't seem to get himself away from these plot holes. Except for he totally does. And this is just another case of people not really paying attention. In fact, this is actually brought up more than the Diamond is Unbreakable thing. And that is, why does Joseph Joestar look older even though he's filled with hormone? I thought hormone was supposed to keep you young looking. Well, let me explain.
Now here we go.
So the first major mistake most people make when they bring up Joseph and the whole aging thing is that they only use Lisa or William Zappelli as their examples for the reason that Joseph shouldn't age much. Which, on the surface, seems completely valid, especially if you use both, because that's two different people showing the exact same results. But if you actually examine the two characters closely, you'll start to see why those two have the exact same results. So first off, Lisa and William Zappelli dedicated their entire lives to strict sendo/hormone lifestyles. Their diets, workout, and activities are all based on keeping their hormone at 100% at all times. Not to mention that we see both of these people at the exact same age in their life. Both Lisa and William Zappelli are 50 years old when we first see them. Well, I mean, technically Lisa was 2 months old when we first saw her, but that doesn't really count. So it's not purely hormone that's keeping Lisa and William Zappelli young. It's actually a combination of hormone with their training and lifestyle. Basically, living a healthy lifestyle helps you live healthier, makes you younger looking. This is just basic biology. And it takes this basic idea in biology and gives it kind of a turbo boost thanks to hormone. Because hormone is actually helping them stay younger looking, but it's not the only thing keeping them younger looking. Now this is why Joseph fails on both accounts here. You see, he stated very loudly in the past that he has a strong distaste for hard work, and he brags about skipping class and goofing off to AC/DC. And we also have evidence to kind of show that he wasn't really focused on hormone past part 2. Not only did he start a family, but he also started a big real estate business in New York. Also, there was no real need for him to continue in his mind because Cars was dead. Or Cars was gone, not dead. Second, Joseph is not 50 years old in part 3. If he was, you people would have a stronger case. He's in his late 60s, specifically 69. He's almost in his 70s. And don't even get me started on part 4. The people who argue that Joseph should look young in part 4 were not fucking paying. They don't read JoJo. He fucking died once. Dio sucked all of the blood out of his fucking body. We literally saw his ghost ascend into the heavens. He has fair reason to look old and be a bit senile. Though some people aren't happy with the he just didn't train in hormone anymore excuse, and they want to bring up the fact that Joseph had a lot of natural hormone. In fact, he was overflowing with it so much that he was as strong as Jonathan as a child, so he had a lot of excess hormone. And that would keep him younger looking for a little bit, because a little hormone only goes so far. Because as we're shown through Straits and Tonpetty, two men who completely bathed themselves in hormone training for their entire lives, both aged completely normally. I mean, with a little grace, but when they reached their 60s and 70s, they started to gray out, and even Tonpetty, in between parts 1 and 2, died. He became too old and passed away. I mean, Straits' whole reason for betraying Speedwagon and donning the stone mask was to escape his dying body. Straits was only also a few years older than Joseph at the time. He was 75, where Joseph was 69. So it makes sense that even if Joseph is drifting off of the remaining hormone that he has, maybe the person Tomoko met in Japan actually looked kinda like Jotaro. I wouldn't be surprised if Joseph, really quickly aged after a while, because that's just kind of how hormone works. It doesn't keep you youthful forever. You need to actually work at it for it to actually matter. So yes, hormone probably did help Joseph in the fact that it kept his body in good shape. I mean, look at him. He's incredibly ripped, and he's also athletic in part 3, and he's 69 years old. That's like Jack Boulain power juicer type of fucking old man. But it doesn't change the fact that hormone wouldn't have slowed his physical aging. So no, Joseph getting older is not a plot hole. It's not something that Araki forgot. It actually fits very well into the ideas of how hormone works in the series, And also the fact that Joseph is incredibly lazy and he wouldn't continue this training because he finds no reason to. And even if it did, it wouldn't even matter because Hamon training only goes so far. So no matter how you look at it, Joseph getting old is not a case of Araki forgot. But you know what actually might be a case of Araki forgot that takes place in part 3? Why did Arabia Fat work for Dio? When he had a stand that was Dio's exact weakness? Dio, for those who don't know, Arabia Fat is the guy who had the sun. You know, the sun. A vampire's one insta-kill button. But that's for a different time. If you enjoyed this video and would like to help support more videos like it, I have a Patreon over at patreon.com/MetinotTheBadGuy. And if you want to enjoy a long, youthful life without having to do any Hamon training, without actually even needing to have like much Hamon at all, or doing any Sendo practice, head on over to Funimation.com/show/Shinman in a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist, and buy yourself a copy. Or go on to Amazon. Buy everyone a copy. Buy me a copy. That'd be really sweet.